Hi, welcome back to my channel, Midnight Makes. I'm Denali. This is my little corner of the internet where I talk about what I've been making, whether that be knitting, crochet, cross stitch, sewing, and today's little video is another knit and chat. I did one last week and rather enjoyed it, so I decided to go ahead and do that again. This week, my project for knitting this week is my sheep camp sweater from Jennifer Berg. The body is done and I am working on a sleeve. So there's my dog. That's Little Bit. She's the sausage. She's the little sausage dictator of this house.
Yes, you are your little sausage dictator.
So, I wanted to address the audio issues in last week's podcast. I apologize. I just finished lunch and naturally I'm getting a little indigestion. Sorry. But last week's audio rather sucked. I have a mic, but it wasn't working very well. It does not work very well, and I end up with some awful crackling and like, I can't remember, my husband called it something. I don't know. I'm not good with this stuff. I know how to edit my videos, and that's about it. So I've established that my mic just doesn't cut it, but the audio quality for my AirPods is perfect. So I'm just going to be using those as a speaker for now. I see you. I hear you. I also apologize for the lighting. I do have my ring light over here, but I have plant lights up there and the living room windows are behind me. I would sit in a different spot, but this is comfortable and I don't want to move today. So one thing about the knit and chat that I noticed while I was editing is I was like this the entire video. You couldn't actually see my knitting. So I am actively trying to keep it in frame this time, and I've moved the camera a little bit further away so that hopefully, you can actually see my progress a little bit more. My posture is absolutely terrible, so please don't pay attention to that. So last week I was talking about podcasts and movies and documentaries that I had been watching and listening to, books that I was reading. So I went over as for podcasts, I went over my weekly go-to podcast last week. So I thought I'd talk about some of my ones that I listen to as seasons drop or new episodes drop. And the one that I've been listening to this week is the 6th season of Nobody Should Believe Me. It's a podcast that deals with Munchausen's by proxy. So think Gypsy Rose Blanchard. That's like the most famous case. There are other cases of parents that make their children sick. Unfortunately, that's what this season 6 has been about. It's an adult child talking about her mom, who at one point went to prison for Munchausen by proxy child abuse, for for her daughter, the girl that's talking on the podcast, her sister, convicted of child abuse, went to prison for it for a while, then proceeded to have another child, and said child got really sick, ended up passing away, and it's one of those things where the host and the daughter are kind of going through and trying to figure out if it was another Munchausen's by proxy thing, which I can never imagine hurting a child, especially your own child. So, like, some of the things that I've heard on this podcast are absolutely terrifying. I recommend the podcast if you have a strong stomach, but I don't recommend it if you're not prepared for some of the absolutely disgusting behaviors that these parents have done. I apologize. I'm slowly starting to sink down. It's just, it's rough. It is extremely rough. This week, that's the only podcast that I've been listening to other than my normal weekly podcasts. Do you need help getting comfortable? Do you want me to move my t-shirts? Hang on. There you go. There you go. Hang on. Jesus, you need to go. Okay, come on, sausage dictator. Yes, okay. Ooh, big shake. Okay, we're back. So, yeah, I haven't really been listening to any other podcasts other than my, normal weeklies, and then I've been listening to season 6 of Nobody Should Believe Me. When I haven't been listening to podcasts and I've been needing something to listen to while one of my fish is being weird in my tank. I have been listening to an audiobook, so I grabbed the audiobook for the book. Hang on, let me check the name of it. And I'm probably gonna butcher this name. So I got the audiobook Mountain of the Dead, the Dyatlov Pass Incidents. Yeah, I'm editing here. It's Dyatlov Pass. I don't know where the hell I got whatever I said. Dyatlov Pass. Okay. Bye. I apologize if I said that wrong. It's about a group of Russian skiers in the when did they go? Anyways, sometime a while back, they were skiing in the Ural Mountains in Russia, and they all perished, and nobody really knows what happened to them, because there were weird things that happened, like their tent was slashed open. They didn't, like, from the inside, so they were in such a rush to get out that they couldn't go through, the tent door, they cut their way out and they weren't wearing the proper clothes. So, I mean, they all pretty much died of exposure. But, you know, the main question is how they died. Or not how they died, but why they left the tent like they did. So far the book's good. It's very technical in certain parts. Like the author went through and talked about each of the autopsy findings for every single one of the group, which was interesting, but also kind of boring. And then the part of the book that I'm into now is going over some of the theories as to what happened. Some of these are conspiracy theories. Some of them are like legitimate theories. One of them involves aliens, because obviously if something happens and you can't explain it, it's gotta be aliens, right? So it's been good so far. And I don't think I'm too far from finishing it. I've just been, when I'm cleaning, listening to the audiobook. As for other books, I finished The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. And oh my gosh, I love this book. It was so good. I loved it. I read another book by her I talked about last podcast, Mexican Gothic. I had liked it. I didn't love it. This one I loved. And I definitely want to pick up more of her books in the future. This one's more of a science-y fiction book. It deals with a doctor that is doing experiments and creating hybrids between humans and animals, and it's really good. I enjoyed it. And then once I finished that, I started King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. I almost said Crosby. It's Cosby. I've read his book, one of his books, Razorblade Tears, in the past. Again, that was another okay book. Wait, was it Razorblade Tears or was it Blacktop Wasteland? Okay, it was one of those books I read. I think I have the other one, but I'm pretty sure it was Razorblade Tears. But this one is, I'm not very far into this. The tagline is a son returning home, a dangerous debt, secrets about to ignite, and a family about to be consumed by flames. I have read one chapter this morning, so I'm not very far in. But, you know, that's my current read. I've got a whole bunch of books that I want to read. I have a huge TBR pile that is way too big that I need to get through, so someday. So that is books and podcasts, movies, and TV shows. So my son has never seen Schitt's Creek. My husband and I have, and I knew it'd be something that he would enjoy. So we started that the other night. I think we're only like 7 episodes in. He thinks it's hilarious. Which it is. So, it's been fun to rewatch it. It's been a while since I saw it, so, it's been fun. As for movies, I watched Priest the other night. It's a rewatch for me. I used to love that movie. I still do. But, it's vampires, and there's like these priests that fight the vampires. It's with Paul Bettany and Carl Urban. It's very good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my rewatch of it. I actually watched it in bed knitting one night. And my husband and I started Sphere last night with Dustin Hoffman and Samuel L. Jackson. And I have never seen that. At least I don't remember seeing it. We only got halfway through the movie just because Tuesdays are early days for my husband for work. So he has to get up like 2 hours earlier than normal. So we went to bed a little bit earlier than normal. Well, he did, I didn't. Because why would I sleep? But so far it's been really interesting. It's like they find a ship crashed in the bottom of the ocean from like 300 years ago, and it's they're investigating aliens, all that. They're investigating it, and it's what happens along the way. It's really interesting. I am definitely looking forward to finishing it tonight. As for documentaries, I finished the Leah Remini Scientology one that I'd been watching, and I also watched and finished Sons of Perdition. So the Scientology one, I went heavily into the Scientology thing last episode, so I'm not going to go into that. But the Sons of Perdition is a documentary series on the FLDS and a family that it follows the boys that have escaped, and it continues to follow them as they help others escape. And the producer of it, the creator of the film, is Tyler Measom, and he is a former Mormon, and he is one of the hosts of Was I in a Cult? So it was actually a couple weeks ago they did a 2-part episode where they talked to the mom of these boys from Sons of Perdition, and so I immediately wanted to watch it. It is free on Tubi, so you can watch it on there, and it's really interesting, really good. So FLDS is the Fundamental Latter-day Saints. So fundamentalist? Yes, fundamentalist Latter-day Saints. So it's the offshoot of the Mormon Church that was led by oh my god, I can't remember his name, even though I've watched documentaries on him. I'll put it here. And it's the polygamist side. It's the side that broke off when the Mormon Church outlawed polygamy and did their own thing. And the documentary is really good. I recommend it. It's amazing. I really enjoyed the documentary, and I'm glad that I finally watched it, because that's why I got Tubi in the first place, and then I watched multiple documentaries before I even watched that one. But we'll get there. So those are the documentaries that I watched. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in this little knit-in chat today is my plans for knitting for the future. I love patterns, and I love new shiny patterns, and I love old shiny patterns, and I love I tend to buy patterns when they first come out, especially when there's hair in my shirt, especially when the designers do sales. So I do own a lot of patterns, but then when I go to start a new project, I tend to go through and start the shiny new thing and not go back into my back catalog of patterns that I own. And I have, like, some of these I have yarn for. Some of these I am already, you know, I have everything ready. I have the pattern, I have the yarn, and instead I will start a shiny new pattern that I have to go buy yarn for. So I have been making use of the, which is the first time I've ever used this, whoops, the Ravelry Q. I've never actually used it in the past. I'll put it in my Ravelry Q over here so that you can see it and see what's on it. Right now I have 26 patterns on it, and they're kind of in order, but kind of not. I have been looking at the projects that I want to start next, and I have 2 that I'm debating on. And some of these I have the patterns for, some of them I do not have the patterns for, but I do have the yarn for. But the 2 that are on the top that I'm debating on are both, I own the yarn and the pattern. So I am debating on the Her Sweater by Rebecca Clow. I'll put it in. I actually got this this weekend. Rebecca did a birthday sale for her birthday over the weekend, and this was one of the patterns that had been in my favorites and I grabbed during the sale. And the yarn I have for this is a Loops and Threads Michaels Luxe Merino blend, which is acrylic and wool. Good Lord. Merino wool. So it's a wool acrylic blend. I haven't decided on the colors, but I know that I have plenty of the yarn to decide on colors at a later date. And I like that this one has different options for how much color work you do. You can either do a small color work band or like a larger color work band. It's really up to you, and it's really customizable. So my other project that I want to do, that I have on the top of my queue, is the Mushan sweater by, I am not going to butcher this name. I will put it right here because I'm not going to butcher that name. I'm not even going to try. And this one's beautiful. An Instagram friends that I follow did this one as a test knit, and I have been in love with it ever since she knit it. So it is definitely on my list. And I have some paint box yarn, and the way I would like to do it is do the main color in a black, and then the accented flower color work in a purple, and I think it would be beautiful. But I am debating. I definitely want to do a color work sweater next because I flew through this colorwork yoke and loved every minute of it. So now I want to do more colorwork. But I am holding myself to finishing one of my projects before I can start another sweater, because I have 2 sweaters and a vest that I need to finish. So the vest, literally I just need to pick up the stitches and knit the armbands. I talked about it in my podcast update Friday, I think is one. Saturday, whenever I posted it. So the closest one to finishing is that one if I want to start another sweater. And then this is my other closest. My Louise pullover is not even connected in the round for the body yet. I'm still working on the front. I finished the back and then put it down because I was focused on this project for a little bit. So those are my next 2 projects for sure. And then from there, I don't know what I want to do. Some of these, like I said, I have the yarn for, and I want to get there. I'm really awful at not doing the shiny new thing, the shiny new projects. So I'm really trying to combat that, really trying to plan out my knits, plan out what I'm going to work on, plan out what I want to work on, and how I'm going to use the yarn that I have, because I have some gorgeous yarns that I really want to use. So I guess that is all I've got for my knit and chat this week. I really don't have much else. I'm currently filming a vlog just for the week, trying not to be too bored. However, I have been dealing with insomnia, and today was a headache that was on the verge of a migraine, so it's not been the greatest video. And later today is the back to school night at my son's school, so I gotta look halfway decent for that. I also need to figure out what we're having for dinner tonight, so let me know comment below what you're reading, watching, listening to, consuming, or what your plans for future knitting projects are. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.